Let the bass kick.
Up here?
Yeah, I did not.
Like, if you watch the show every once in a while, like, and Marcus is expert about it too, because he'll get his phone up, like he's pulling up scores or stats or something, and he'll be looking down, and he'll just have his phone right here, and you'll, if you pay attention, and normally, because he's always in the frame with me, and I'm talking, so there's like no focus on him, but if you look at him, he'll be sitting there, and his eyes will start to roll back in his head, and then his lids will start to close, just like...
See what it is? I need 15 minutes.
I
never take those 15 minutes now.
I'm just
I got it
resting
already.
my eyes.
I got it already today.
I'm just resting my eyes.
It's already gone. That's why I'm here now.
What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up?
What up? He also like just starts recording. You never know when.
You never know when I'm going to do it.
I like it.
You never know. All right. Well, see, we just like to keep you guys guessing. We were gone for a week. Now we're back with 2 episodes in 1 week.
Bam.
And there's a good reason for that. We are here. Oh, by the way, welcome to episode 43 of Last Cash. I'm Will.
I'm still Marcus.
And joining us tonight is my new buddy, Philip Bartholomew. Golf snaps.
Golf snaps.
And Philip is Team Discraft, PDGA number 45441. And some of you guys, if you've been following Stokely on the interwebs, you know that Philip is the newest instructor under the Scott Stokely Disc Golf Method brand. And he's already on the road. There have been some crazy testimonials already from the first seminars and clinics that he's been teaching. So that is the reason for the season. That's why we called a special episode. Philip just got into town. He's got a seminar at Two Rivers on Friday, all-day seminar. That's a 9-hour seminar. Great value, top-level professional disc golf instruction. Two Rivers, 3 spots still available for Friday.
Correct.
And then Saturday, we just announced, we've got a clinic at Cedar Hill, hole 17, at 5:30 Saturday evening. And that is $30 a pop, and there are special exemptions to that. If you're a junior player, it's only $3. There's a bunch of exemptions to the entry fee listed on scottstokely.net that you guys can check out. Links to the registration and everything will be in the description where you guys can get all of that stuff. But yeah, so a really good opportunity for a 3-hour clinic. It's going to be a broad basis coverage of fundamentals and then one-on-one instruction. 3 full hours. Philip, I'm assuming, is being on the same modus operandi as Scott, where you'll hang out as long as you need to. And
Yep. So it's 3 hours, 1 hour of instruction, and then 2 hours of basically just circulating through one-on-one time with however many people show up. So last night I got a call from 2 people. They're coming together from Atlanta. And I don't know if they're the only 2 people to show up or to have bought tickets yet. But he said, if there's 2 people, are we still doing it? And I was like, absolutely, we're still doing it. And if we're going to spend 3 hours together, just me and 2 other dudes, it's going to be me and 2 other dudes for 3 hours. And they're going to get really good at disc golf. Now, 50 people show up. Everyone's going to get good, but it's like Marcus already knows, 10 minutes, we addressed some serious...
I'm good.
Just some easy things to fix to make you more consistent.
Another shout out to people that have been following the show for a while, and those have been around for Scott's episodes with us. You might have heard Scott talking a massive amount of crap about Marcus's sidearm after he was here for a month while we recorded his audiobook. And as much crap as he talked and as much as he promised that he was going to fix it, he left town and never looked back. And so in 10 minutes, Philip just fixed Marcus's sidearm.
And backhand.
And backhand.
Well, more the backhand.
Okay,
more the backhand and sidearm.
I can't take credit for the sidearm yet.
There. I was making gross assumptions.
I'm gonna show up, and he's gonna fix my sidearm. After today, he's fixed my backhand. I feel like I've got like 3 to 5 things to work on, and it's actually something I've been wondering about myself. So, shout out to the Scott Stokely method. Shout out to Philip over here. I think that, already I'm feeling good.
Yeah, and so on Saturday, I'm wide open. and I'm in Nashville. And I have 2 new friends.
You're not wide open. I have plans for you.
Yes, this is true. But if you can come, I hope you can.
Marcus has carte blanche to go everywhere that I go at all times.
Let's go.
Wow.
Hashtag let's go.
Sweet.
Always
I'm
has.
actually really excited about that.
Yep. This is my brother right here. You can't see the family
From another mother.
He goes where I go.
And another father.
I take him wherever I go. I like to borrow Marcus's credibility at every opportunity I get.
I got friends everywhere.
Everywhere. It's funny, man, because Marcus always, like, whatever guest we always have, at some point in the episode, there's always, like, a point of universal confluence or congruence where, like Holly Finley and him were both in a Bart Durham commercial back in the day. Like, there's always some kind of, like, point where, and we'll find it, I'm sure. I'm sure.
It's going to happen.
But, yeah, for everybody that's watching, you know, whether, if you're not familiar with Philip, I kind of gave you a little bit of an introduction, but before we get into the nitty-gritty of what you're here for, go ahead and give the audience a little bit of information on your backstory. Where are you from? How old were you? How long have you been playing disc golf? What got you into it? That kind of thing. I'm going to put the camera on you and you alone. All right.
It's like ESPN. Put the
I gotta
camera
zoom
on me.
in on him. Look, my camera angle's all jacked up. You just start talking, buddy.
You're good.
I'm gonna
You're
make
good.
you look beautiful.
So, my name's Philip Bartholomew. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm 25. I'll be 26 in not very many days. I think 6 days. I've been playing disc golf for nearly 15 years, 10 of which have been in the pro division. And yeah, I mean, I think disc golf obviously made a huge impact on my life as a young child, 11, 12 years old. And I had no idea that my life was headed down this path as, a 12-year-old. I just really like to play disc golf. And my parents were like, hey, look, you can't play disc golf all the time. You need to focus on your schoolwork. And so I completely disregarded that advice and took disc golf to a whole new level. And so here we are now, 15 years later, out playing disc golf on the Disc Golf Pro Tour and, teaching disc golf, which is what I found as, that was my passion. And that was my end to having a kind of like being a business inside of disc golf, like not just being a player, not just being a good professional player, but like, how am I going to survive? Like we kind of talked about earlier, after I'm not 25 years old anymore. What am I going to do when I'm not Philo Brathwaite, okay? I'm not going to be 40 playing 1030 golf. I mean, I am, but but I'm just saying.
What you trying to say, bro? I turned 40 next year, man.
Well, it's all on the up and up for you, you know.
See, I got the advice from you, so now it's on the up and up.
Yeah, yeah. It's got to be.
I'm gonna break your rule, bro. I'm gonna be 40 playing 1030 golf, man.
Yeah. And so I hope I do the same thing. But just in case, if I don't, I went out a few years ago, 2019, trying to figure out what I was going to do inside the disc golf community. I wanted to be a player. I love playing disc golf. I want to be well respected as a good professional, but at the end of the day, that's not going to pay my 401k. That's not going to buy me a house, maybe. But I'm not Paul Macbeth right now, so I have to find another way to, create income for myself. Teaching seemed to be what that income was. And I don't think of it as I'm going to make money teaching disc golf. I just like to teach. I've taught for free for many years. And then I started realizing over this past year that people were willing to pay for my knowledge. And I banked on that. And now Scott saw that, not the money part, but obviously the passion for teaching. And he picked me up. And he's been an extremely positive mentor in my life in the past year and a half.
Do me a favor and kick that chair out of the frame.
This chair?
Yeah. It's just
this is my friend over here.
Well,
it looks like
if you had actually been
something.
If you had actually been using it as an armrest, I wouldn't have made you do that. But it just seemed. I mean, well, now the frame looks empty.
No, it's okay.
No, it looks better without the chair.
Do I need to move this
way? The chair made it look like a big old microphone.
Man, you just you're front and center, and I love it. Like this is
great. Where he needs to be.
Yeah. I was just looking at that big ugly chair sit, like it was right next to your head, and I was like, man, I can't even deal with this. I'm gonna obsess about this for
you're good. You're good.
The next 2 hours. Okay, so I mean, obviously, I think before Scott found you or approached you, you probably had already had some inkling that you wanted to be teaching. That was something that, I mean, just I've known you for an hour or two, and I can tell that it's in your DNA. It's something that automatically you just fall into that rhythm of showing people how to fix what they're doing wrong. And that's a gift that some people have and some people don't. Right. And that's one of the things that, sets people like Scott apart, is that's always been something that he's been passionate about, is teaching and sharing disc golf with other people. And I knowing Scott the way I do, I can't imagine that it was anything else than he saw himself in you, saw your passion for teaching. And I got to say, man, I've seen Scott teach, and I've seen the Scott Stokely method at work, and it's effective. And it's something that no matter what skill level you're at, you can plug into it and progress.
Absolutely.
And it's something that has been, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like when Seth Muncie and Disc Golf Strong first came onto the scene, it was like, man, how have we been missing this for this long? How has this not been a part of the sport? And that's kind of the same way that I feel about Scott's teaching method and you guys doing what you're doing. This is the standard of disc golf instruction in the sport. I don't think there's anybody that could suggest that there's another entity in the disc golf industry that's out there doing disc golf instruction at this level. So, I mean, that's got to be huge, because Scott has already established his brand over the last 2 years, and now, like, he has hand selected you. I mean, he's Scott Stokely. He's a little bit of a wingnut, but he's an institution in disc golf, and he could have picked anybody, and he picked you. And I shared a YouTube video on our social media that you guys can go check out, of people that participated in the first couple clinics, or one of the first couple clinics that you've taught since you've been contracted with Scott.
Yeah.
And it's just rave reviews. It's the same. And this was kind of what I was wanting to see, is because you see the video testimonials of people that Scott has taught and how he's helped them. And there was at least 3 or 4 or 5 people in this video that had just taken part in your clinic under the Scott Stokely method and said that you fixed huge errors in their form and added at least 50 feet to their drives and all this other shit.
Right.
That's right. I what do you call it? Censored myself. No need for a bleep.
No bleep button.
No bleep button.
Will's got it covered.
So now I know that you've been teaching disc golf for some time, but you've been recently under this new kind of structured material and curriculum, and we talked a little bit after our introduction just a few minutes ago, and about how that's been kind of a hurdle for you. Like just familiarizing yourself with the material, making sure that you're not jumping ahead or,
Yeah, so Scott's like a well-oiled machine when it comes to teaching the method, because, well, he is the creator of the method, and he knows exactly what order that things are going to be said in, and that it's important that you say them in the correct order. So what I wanted to show you guys, and I'm not going to let the TV see this, but I'll let you guys see it and then have your reactions to the TV. So this is the Scott Stokely method written on a piece of paper. Okay, you ready?
Power scroll, power scroll, power scroll, power scroll, power scroll, power scroll.
Tell me when I'm done.
You're done.
You're done.
Okay.
Wow.
But it's like pages of information, stories that relate to what we're talking about, how we describe what we're saying to people, and step-by-step instruction, what to and not to look for, what's important, what's just complete noise in the background that someone says, what about my feet? Well, you know what, if you follow the 6 things that we say to do, your feet will follow your body. So as long as you're not breaking your knees while you're walking up and throwing, you're doing it right. And a cool thing that Scott always says, and I totally agree with, is Paul Macbeth doesn't say, and then I plant my foot 20 degrees backwards and I rotate on my heel. No, the man steps and he throws. He does it correctly. And we used him as a reference outside when we were just kind of working on some backhand form, because he is the kind of the base level. This is the standard of how you throw consistently and well. He is that standard.
True.
And there's a lot of other players that are, very unique in their own way and can still throw really well. They're not 1060 rated. Right. And you become 1060 rated, not saying they can't throw shots that Paul can't throw. They just can't do it as consistently as he does. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah. And honestly, in my best estimation, and this is me as not an expert disc golf instructor, but I would say that it all comes down to ultimately to your grasp of base mechanics. I think the difference between a person, because you can have two people that have been playing disc golf for 10 years, and one of them might max out in range on their drive at 380 feet, and then the other one is at 520. And usually the difference between those two players is a grasp of base mechanics and fundamentals. There is something fundamental in their mechanics that is not in line, and it's something that they've been building on top of and playing on top of for years and creating bad habits, but it's something that's easily correctable.
Sure.
And that as far as I can tell, what the Scott Stokely method really does well is zero in and identify that spot for every player where it's like, this is where I'm not transferring my momentum properly. This is where I'm losing power. This is where I'm losing accuracy, and finding those like fine, minute points and focusing in on the basis, the basics and the fundamentals.
Yeah. And I've seen like one great analogy is that you see a lot of tennis players, they all have different looking serves.
Yeah.
You can distinguish Novak from Federer. Mm-hmm. You know those two dudes, and when they serve, they have a
kind of like the silhouettes
serve.
Of the logos for disc golfers.
Right,
where it's like putting. You know what I mean?
Right.
They all have a different.
But they're using the same mechanics when they hit that ball. Yep. Have to. There's a golden standard in tennis of how you hit a ball over a net. And it's the same thing for disc golf. I've seen a lot of different people. Example: Gavin Rathbun and Gary Gerthy. Both threw over 670 feet in the distance competition in Worlds. And let me tell you, they look completely different. Mm-hmm. But their mechanics are almost identical when you talk about how they use their body. And that's what the method is created around as well. It's not about, hey, look, this is what you need to look like when you throw. It's based around, hey, look, these are the things that are important that create power, that create consistency and power. Once you figure out how to do that, you can figure out how to throw all kinds of shots.
Yeah.
We're not out there teaching people how to throw, 150-foot finesse shots with an air bounce through a 2-foot gap. We're teaching people how to throw. It's intuitive that you're going to figure out how to use your body after you've, had the creation of what a throw looks like.
Yep.
And if you have really bad flaws that are inhibiting your ability to throw well, and you're like, my finesse game sucks, and your power game sucks. But if you have a good, solid power base and you can tune that down a little bit and throw softer shots with the same exact form, all of a sudden your finesse game goes up.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It's just not that easy. Right? It's difficult. It's difficult. But and I've been through this, I know it's hard.
It's hard. I definitely got my 10 minutes of fame, and the practice definitely helped out a bit. I can't wait to let my game go down and then spike back up, because I hit my ceiling, just like you said. There's a ceiling that every disc golfer hits, and
plateau.
Yeah,
maybe not a ceiling. I think ceiling.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
you
can bust through a ceiling.
Yeah.
Ceilings aren't made of concrete, right?
But plateaus are like writer's block.
Wow, you
know
should be an inspirational speaker.
He is, dude. He is. I've known this guy for years. He inspires me all the time. No, but like I feel like a plateau is a very, I don't know. I don't think it's talked about enough in athletics, because for me, like I've been a fan of the written word in journalism for most of my life, and there's this concept of writer's block and different ideas on how you can overcome it. And for me, after years and years of struggling with writer's block off and on, it was like, well, you just keep writing. Even if you feel like it's shit, like you just keep writing. And, don't focus on it. Put it away. After you write it, put it away. And then maybe months or years or whatever later, you come back to it and you find the value in it. You know, it's one of those things where your progression as a disc golf athlete, you know, when you reach those plateaus, it's basically, it's your perception of an expectation of where you should be based on a timeline.
Right.
And if you go through a period of 2 or 3 months where you're just rapidly progressing and you're shaving strokes off your rounds, and then all of a sudden, like you're starting to take, you know, threes on holes that you're used to birdieing, you're starting to take bogeys where you didn't used to, and you feel like you're not developing anymore. That is one of those little places. It's like a hole in your disc golf development where it's really easy to fall into a mental trap where just a little hiccup can cause you to go down a rabbit hole and obsess about, like, and create a problem with your game where there isn't one. Do you find that kind of reasonable?
Yes, yeah. I've been down that rabbit hole like many times, right? And I think my backhand's always been pretty good. And it's actually kind of funny because if you watch my backhand grow from like just 10 years of my backhand, it probably looks relatively similar, but in my own brain and the way I feel like when I'm throwing it probably feels very different. I had that issue this past year, 2020, late in the year, and I just was like not throwing the disc good. I could not figure out why. And it was, ironically, I was teaching a lot and I was like getting caught up in the things that I was saying to people and like being hyper focused on, no, I need to do this and that. And it goes back to the whole Paul thing. Like, he's not thinking about what he's doing when he throws. He just throws it. His brain says, your body's going to do this. And then he goes, okay. And then his body does that. And I had a good friend of mine, Scott Conway, he has great mental advice to make you see the game in a different way. And so he's like, dude, you throw so good. Just throw. He's like, don't think about what you're doing. Tell your body what it wants to do. Look at the shot, line it up, and go blank. Throw the disc. All of a sudden, since then, up until right now, I just have been throwing way cleaner. I'm not saying I'm having like 1050 rated golf, but I'm not grip shanking the disc being like, what the hell was that? You know, overthinking something that's so natural to me. I mean, when you spend that long throwing a disc, it should be natural.
I agree.
But that's very valid. I mean, I know that at periods of time where I've been actively engaged in teaching disc golf and sharing it with others, that as I'm trying to find that relatable point, and we talked about this earlier, where it's like it's a basic concept, you're just trying to find the right words to say to make it make sense to the person that you're interacting with. Mm-hmm. When you have those moments where you find that relatable point and you're able to make it click for somebody, a lot of times in the process of finding your way there, you are like, you have a revelation about something that you've been struggling with. Mm-hmm. And so teaching is a great way to learn.
100%.
Absolutely.
I mean, when people teach, you got to be like accepted. I mean, I guess the way I'm trying to put it is like, if someone like wants to I don't want to say put their hands on you, but if you let someone like literally like, okay, this is where your shoulder should be, this is where your wrist should be, that's when the teaching really makes sense. When it really clicks.
Well, it becomes it's not a YouTube video anymore.
Yeah,
it's a physical instruction.
Yeah, because like just what Will was saying, like sometimes you're teaching people and you realize something in your game, but then at the same time, it's so hard to fix that within your game as you're teaching someone else. But when someone else sees you do it and you've been doing it and they're like, hey, why are you doing it? And you're like, oh yeah, thanks.
Me and Marcus said the same exact thing to each other. I literally said something about his shoulders, and he's like, I've literally been thinking about that for like the past month. And I'm like, so why are you doing that? and it's just, eventually it's like, yeah, like you said, you got to put your hands on somebody and physically move your shoulders. All of a sudden you threw one shot. And all of a sudden it went, Marcus threw say you're throwing everything at 80%, and then he threw one at like 60%, and it went just as far as the ones that he was throwing at 80%.
Very true.
Or farther. And it was like, and straighter, and more like way straighter and good angle. And it's like, wow, one little thing made such a big difference.
Yeah.
But, it's like watching Steph Curry and Shaquille O'Neal shoot free throws. Ooh. One of them took time to perfect the form, and the other guy breaks backboards.
Well, and I think it even goes deeper than that. I think that honestly, man, there are people that, with every pursuit, I think there are people that are gifted in the translation and the sharing of it and the teaching of it, and there are people that are not. A lot of people are fantastic players and just don't have the innate mechanisms or giftings of being a great teacher. Yeah. And that's not to say anything bad about anybody. I mean, and everybody kind of comes and goes and fluctuates. And, when Ricky was young and throwing a mile and winning everything, and he would try to do a clinic and tell you what he was doing, he just couldn't explain it. He couldn't describe it, and it's a natural thing, kind of what you were touching on earlier, is you have to be able to analyze it in a certain almost intangible and casual way that you can turn into something that you can share with somebody else that might be somewhere completely different than you are.
Yeah. Well, and I think it takes a great deal of patience and, just kindness. I was
Absolutely.
I was talking with my mom earlier today on the phone driving here, and she's like, Philip, you're just a kind person. The fact that you are at a disc golf seminar, it ends at 5. I didn't leave the place until 8:30. And then I went and had dinner with 3 out of the 4 guys that I was giving the seminar to and hung out with them until almost midnight. It's like that. Now, I'm not saying that's kindness. I'm saying that's the bunch of cool dudes that we all got along really
right.
well. Sure. But if I was just some guy that didn't really care about anything and all I was trying to do is go out and make a quick buck on people that wanted to learn how to play disc golf, I would have left at 5. So, and I knew how far I was going over, and I didn't care. I just was enjoying the time with people and enjoying my passion, which is teaching people how to play disc golf.
And this is a good opportunity to point out to everybody, I think we're kind of slowly climbing our way out of this mindset, but for years and years in disc golf, as soon as, and it comes with growth, it's growing pains, but as soon as people started making money at disc golf, as soon as certain tournament directors and course designers started organizing and forming businesses and actually earning some money at disc golf, people assumed impropriety and made wild accusation. And it happened in clubs and in communities all across the country. And now that disc golf is burgeoning industry, there's so many opportunities to make money. And I know as soon as people most of the time, is especially with instruction. Private lessons have kind of been a thing for a long time. But when you when you set a premium on the value of this instruction and expect people to pay this, your guys' stuff has been filling up. So can you speak to that? Have you had anybody, has there been any feedback that has been giving you any guff about having to charge for this stuff? Because I know that's a lot of people's concern is when they see $300 on a disc golf lesson. They're not thinking about the fact that it's 9 hours. It's a full day. It's one-on-one in person, and it's limited to a small group of people.
Yeah.
So that you can spend adequate time. So for anybody who is concerned on making that investment and what value that they're kind of going to get out of it, what can you kind of say to them to ease those concerns? Because I think a lot of people are used to going out to clinics, especially charging clinics, and paid money and not felt like they've gotten. I don't know. I might be setting you up for something that I don't mean to, but I feel like I want everybody to get a clear idea of how personal and how impactful that this instruction can be for everybody.
I have the perfect answer.
Good.
You're setting me up perfectly.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to be a little disappointed at how short my answer is going to be.
Okay. Well, you're soloed in. So let's.
Marcus, How much did you learn in less than 10 minutes?
My rating in my mind went up probably like 50 points.
Just the ability, just you saying, "Oh
Yeah.
wow!"
Right,
Like
right.
my ceiling just got higher, or my
Yeah.
plateau just could have gone up.
You're exactly right. I really felt in 10 minutes that, it's something I've been needing for the last 2.5 years.
10 minutes, okay. And now what I'm really saying is, now imagine, and we've been hanging out for like a couple hours now, and I
Right.
think we've had a good time. I've really enjoyed my time here, just chilling with y'all. So imagine having 9 hours hanging out, having a really good time, and learning 9 hours of disc golf as well.
Oh, yeah.
Is that worth? But it's a lifelong investment. You're not just getting one day of instruction. You get to go through that whole day of learning and going through that process. And then at the end of the day, not everybody leaves being 1,000 rated disc golfer. So at the end of the day, we shoot a review video and we talk on all the points that this is what you need to work on moving forward to keep progressing, give you some more advanced tips as well. And you have that video for the rest of your life. You can keep growing while we're not there. Scott set this up, his private lessons and his seminars. This is a one-stop shop. We don't want people coming back over and over and over. This is it's an intuitive thing that you're going to be able to keep growing and keep getting better. Once you learn how to do a backhand, you can learn how to do 5 different backhands: Anheuser, hyzer, grenades, rollers. You know what I mean? And you know what we talked about pulling the disc across your chest and having, we were saying, how do you change the angle of the disc? You change the angle of the disc of your hips, right? And so the disc
Right.
always stays in one spot right across your chest. Well, a lot of people think that you're going to like move your wrist in a certain way or move your arm in a certain way. All of a sudden, that's completely adding variables that are unnecessary. When you eliminate that, now you have an opportunity to throw 5 different shots way more consistently.
And like, if I was ambiguous about like doing the process, I'm not anymore. Just like you said, in 10 minutes, I really felt like, my eyes have been open, and, it's kind of cool to go on a podcast afterwards and talk like, yeah, I literally just had 10 minutes with the guy, and it's so worth it. And I feel like, my words being like more than honest right now, that, it's worth it for anybody to try it, because I feel like I've played pro for maybe, I think 9 years now. And
We're in the same boat.
most people have made more money than me over my 9-year career in their first year, as far as like real pros. So I've been at a random ceiling, like a heartbeat, like a oscillator or something like that. It's been going up and down.
Yeah.
Roller coaster.
But I'm a roller coaster. Yeah, there you go. But I've never like really just gone up, and I feel like now I can actually go up that roller coaster, and I appreciate that.
I appreciate all the smoke getting blown up my ass.
And it would suck if I was like not being honest, but I'm being like totally honest right now. So you guys,
do that to Scott,
you guys
too.
check my I'm on my rating right now.
That's one of the purposes
This
of a
same
podcast.
time next year, I guarantee my rating will be 40 to 50 points higher. I'm gonna go for it.
I'm gonna have to come to Nashville a lot.
Man, come hang out, bro. We got a place for you. Yeah.
And I feel inspired, man. So yeah, man, it's so real. It touched me.
Jesus.
I love it.
Yeah, I appreciate everything.
Yeah, of course. Well, and I appreciate everything too. You guys have been nothing but, friendly. And I come to Nashville just to teach a seminar, and all of a sudden, Will's like, "And I got you this awesome place to stay, and I'm going to show
by the
you
way,
the
you
most."
you gotta go over there with us.
Oh yeah, let's check
Get
it
him
out.
over to Dr. Hoy's place.
Okay,
Yeah, I am so blessed to have.
And then you got to get my ass home.
I'll be above. I'm willing and ready.
Yeah, I'm just so blessed, to have people.
Well, man,
like this.
honestly, and this is how I've always felt and why I've always tried to go above and beyond for anybody that shows an interest in coming through Nashville and bringing something special. You taking the time to come to Nashville, that adds a huge value for the people that are our constituents. You know what I mean? Like, we represent the disc golf community in Nashville, and having this opportunity, you're going well out of your way. You're spending 3 full days teaching disc golf. Like, we're going to take a little break to show you some cool shit on Saturday, but all day Friday, all day Sunday, you're teaching disc golf, and then for 3 hours at least on Saturday evening. So, that's a huge undertaking, and only certain people are capable of that, and it requires a passion for it. and a true gifting at it. And I think that this is, like, I feel incredibly fortunate that our little podcast got a chance to kind of catch you right at your launching point and develop this relationship, because I feel like what you and Scott are doing together, I mean, this is going to just continue to propel disc golf into the next stratosphere of its evolution. Like, we're seeing every tournament, discs are going faster and farther, and crazier shit is happening, and the more people, like, this is the best thing, because you see, like, intermediate and advanced divisions at every tournament are the biggest divisions at every tournament, and it's like people don't, in those two divisions where you're right at the cusp of moving up into pro, people have the most reticence. It's like there is a naturally existing divisional plateau right there. And I think that what you and Scott are doing is going to start to dissolve that. And I think we're going to start seeing more of an even spread again between divisions. And you're going to start seeing more people coming into the pro field. All these young cats that are, the Gavins and all these people that are popping up now, that's going to become, like, every year there's 30 new MPO and FPO players that are giving the people that have been around for 5-10 years a run for their money. Yeah. And that's good for the sport.
Yeah.
Especially with all the new media attention and the ESPN2 deal. It necessitates a constant influx of new talent that is worthwhile to watch.
The new talent is scary.
It's terrifying.
And if you haven't watched the final round of D-Glow on Jomez, do yourself a favor and watch the young talent just go off. I wish Paul could have been on that card and had a chance at the lead too, because he is one of those people that pushes people to play their best, but he didn't need to be there. The two people that ran that show put on a show almost better than I think Paul Macbeth could have. And that's hard to say, because Paul Macbeth shot 18 under at that course.
Well, that's right. I think that's another good testament for the progression and the evolution of the sport, is that Paul Macbeth doesn't have to be there every time for there still to be, like, phenomenal disc golf happening. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's, I'm sure, a relief for Paul that he, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't feel like he has to always show up to get attention on the sport. I mean, with what James did at Worlds and with, I mean, there's just so many dynamic players right now, pardon the pun, the biased pun, but I mean, there's so many people that that are influential and front and center on the stage of disc golf right now that are, I mean, just so engaging. So I mean, anything can happen at any one of these tournaments. There's 20 to 30 people in MPO or in FPO that could just go on a tear and charge up a leaderboard and have a big upset, and then start their own phenomenon, their own, race to stardom in disc golf. Exactly. And it's a really cool time to be involved in the sport, just to see how many exciting people. And it's, I came in at this really interesting time where it was like momentum was building, but nothing had really, like, reached the apex of that first hill on the roller coaster. And then I got to watch it kind of come over, and now we're on the ride.
Yep.
And opportunities are everywhere. And there's enough people and enough of a base now for people to really engage with their creativity and follow their passions and find their callings. And I'm stoked to have you on the show just to hear that there's somebody else finding an opportunity to hit the road and plug into disc golf in a way that's going to, like, dude, you're really carving a niche for yourself that you can ring this chamois for the rest of your life. It's,
I'm totally in shock, because this is what I was looking for. Yeah. And I hadn't found it. And, one unfortunate thing happened in the world, and next thing you know, I found my niche. And so, and then now here we are.
Yeah. And that, we talked a little bit off the air about how, for me, just knowing Scott, I mean, he's meticulous. He's a bit of a wingnut, and he flies by the seat of his pants, but he's meticulous, and he's analytical in his approach to things. And the Scott Stokely method is something that he's spent years and years developing, and he knows what he's trying to do in the sport. And I think that, just the simple fact that he chose you out of everybody else that he could have had out there on the road teaching this to people, like, he chose you, that speaks volumes to me.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so many Scott Stokeleys.
Yeah, there's one. There's a funny backstory to that too.
Yeah.
When he came, I was like working with a good friend of mine who was my agent. He was the agent that got Paul Macbeth that $4 million contract a few years back, and so we were working together. And he was like, I'm working with Scott now, and Scott's coming into Raleigh, and I think he's going to spend a lot of time here and all this other stuff. And I was like, oh no. He's going to take all the business away from me. He's going to rob me of my disc golf niche, right? And he gets there and he's like, "Can I watch you teach?" I'm like, "What?" I was like, "What is this guy's angle?" I was like, "Okay, sure. Yeah. I'll watch you can watch me teach." And then he watched me teach and he's like, "I'd like to work with you." What? I was like, either you're a really nice guy and you want to help me out and boost me and be a mentor to me, or there's some crazy angle that you're coming at where you're going to steal all my disc golf talents.
Well, you told me a little bit about a bad experience you had at a clinic. And so you don't have to share anything you don't want to about that, but you were coming off of an experience where you signed on to do a clinic with somebody and they were kind of lackluster until they started just basically like stealing your script.
Yeah, a little bit. And it was ironic because when that happened, I had just worked with Scott.
And I only mentioned that just to say that coming into that situation with Scott, that had to be really...
Oh, yeah. I was very skeptical, obviously, because I had been mistreated in the past. And so, I mean, my goodwill and, my kind-heartedness sometimes gets taken advantage of. And that's, that to me, I'll take that loss because I would rather be a kind person and make sure that, people remember me as a nice guy rather than someone that's
high road.
Yeah. Just take the high road on it. But, that there was an experience that I had recently where I was helping instruct a clinic and then we did some more and all of a sudden my material was his material and all the things that he was saying, he kind of just dropped and started saying everything I was saying. And I'm like, well, I get that. We split the clinic up into certain segments maybe, but that's my material. Like, right. I feel like I need to be saying that stuff. And and it's not, and you know what? I would love for someone to say my material and say, and by the way, Phil was so gracious to like open my eyes to this. Never got any recognition.
Like a photo cred.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, whatever. That's maybe a little egotistical of me to have someone to give me credit for that. But at the same time, there's a lot of credit that was just kind of
stolen.
Yeah.
But all good. I got that credit from Scott. So, and every time I throw a forehand and I teach that, I tell everyone who taught me how to throw that because I have tendonitis in my right elbow. And so I was throwing and literally hurting myself every single time I threw until I met Scott and he fixed my forehand. Not saying I threw bad forehands. I don't ever hurt ever. And I've got tendonitis pretty badly, and I literally couldn't throw a forehand without being in pain. So to now, all of a sudden, never have elbow pain anymore. It's like, what? What did I do differently? I changed my position. I changed where I throw the disc, and I give all that credit to Scott. Have to. Because he created that. You see a lot of people throwing forehands nowadays, and they're still throwing them down by their hip and whatnot. And it's like, you've never... I know, I'm sorry. I don't mean to call you out. But you don't see anybody throwing a baseball like that.
I'm totally okay with being like, yeah, that's me. Yeah.
It's a Frisbee throw. And that's okay because everyone... It was a Frisbee.
You got to drop the wing to the ground to get it to carry it all. Yeah.
Right, yeah. When you say it like that, it sounds legitimate.
Yeah.
But there is a good point. If you had that hacky sack and you were to toss it across the room to me, I'm sure you wouldn't throw it like this. You would throw it like that.
Yeah.
True. Yep.
And it's the same thing to be said about a forehand. That's why when Eagle McMahon throws a forehand and he throws it flat, he's like this. He's like all the way all the way bent over.
all the way.
But the reason he's bent over all the way is because he has to get into a position where he's still in a throwing position and throwing it flat. So he has to contort his body to get to that position. I'm giving away free material. I'm sorry, Scott.
Hey, man, I mentioned to him before we talked that I would invite you over here to do a podcast to hype it up. So I think, honestly, man, this is like... Yeah, you're giving away a little bit of free material, but look, we're under an hour. I'm imagining we're probably going to wrap this up in the next 10 to 15 minutes so that we can get you settled in your accommodations for the weekend, because I do want to get home before it gets too late. But, you know, Scott, I know him well enough at this point. Dude, your boy and Kelly are in there jamming some serious... I'm sure the audience can't hear it, but I can hear it in the headphones. Thank God for good audio equipment. I don't know what they're watching in there. It sounds inappropriate.
Oh no!
I'm catching audio whiffs of it. But no, what was I talking about?
Scott
Stokely. How you know him so well?
What I know about him is that he does genuinely as much as he understands that he has positioned himself in a way where he can make a living at this for the rest of his life and never have to work for somebody else ever again and just fly by the seat of his pants forever. As much as he understands all that, I see a lot of him in me just in that, like, I always knew that the work that I did with the club and in the local community could be a springboard to other opportunities in the future. I always understood that very well, but my heart, and I know Scott's heart, is genuinely in what is good for disc golf. You know what I mean? What is good for the people that play this sport, for the other members of our Frisbee family that are hopelessly addicted to this stupid crap. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's, and you, I've known you for a few hours. Like, I can tell that's something that we all have in common. And that's what's beautiful about all this, man, is you find people like that in this sport all the time that you just have this immediate connection with. And you know that, I don't know, I'm just so grateful for disc golf for so many things, but mainly, if I had to pick one thing that disc golf has positively improved in my life, it's just the circle of relationships that I have. No matter how our roles shift throughout the epoch of time, we're always going to be able to come back together and support each other. Yeah. And that's something that I try to stress to a lot of people. I get messages from people a lot asking, like, what does it take to get sponsored and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, it's like, think about what your goal is first. Like, what do you want to do in disc golf? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? Because not every sponsorship is going to be complementary to that. You should be fielding and soliciting sponsorships, because I think a lot of people don't understand that, like, a sponsorship is another term for partnership. It's synonymous. Much like, every manufacturer now has different tiers of teams, like Innova and Dynamic. Like, I'm on the ambassador team for Dynamic Disc, and our sponsorship agreements are built completely differently, where they're giving me the tools that I need specifically to promote and administrate disc golf. Right. And where, the world champion team is getting a different kind of package, and it's not even a term in terms of value. It's a partnership saying, well, like, what is the most mutually beneficial arrangement we can come to between the person that's, doing the sponsoring and the person that's being sponsored, because it's what do both people bring to the table.
Right. So
I think a lot of people in disc golf kind of feel like sponsorship is the end goal or the end game. And it's like, that's the measure of success, is what company, like what team logo do you have on your shirt? And it's so much like, you're going to get you're going to be an asset to any sponsor if you're doing good things in disc golf. And that should be your first priority. Yeah. And have a goal. You're passionate about teaching. I'm passionate about running tournaments and making tournaments better. So, that's like, find a lane and find out where it goes. Right. And we all, like, there's plenty of room within the sport for us all to find a passion and find a path that we can follow to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Especially now. I mean, disc golf's growing exponentially. Like, there's outlets everywhere to be able to create, your legacy. And it doesn't have to be the best player in the world.
Yeah.
I would love to be the best player in the world. I'm going to strive for that too, but I know my lane right now.
Well, I'm going to hit you with a mind bender. Would you rather, okay, like put yourself in the shoes of James Conrad. Would you have rather won this world championship, or 10 years from now, a kid that comes to one of your clinics has that moment and credits you for teaching him, like, or just knowing that you helped create an opportunity for somebody else to fall in love with the game to the point where they could chase it to that level?
Yeah.
What's more rewarding? I mean, obviously, like,
I think a world championship's more rewarding, but I'm not going to say that's not rewarding.
Shot her around the world.
Yeah, but I mean, both of those opportunities are priceless.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's. I surely hope that one day one of or many of the people that I help learn how to play disc golf are in the position where they're like, you know what? I'm here, and I'm here because this person impacted my life. It doesn't have to be me, but I have a speech when I win a world championship. So I know what I'm going to say. I know who I'm going to thank. I have everyone picked out that impacted my life specifically in certain ways that made me who I am today. And I'll just not name all the bad people that turned me into the person I am. And I'll just name all the positive interactions I had.
Oh,
Perfect.
good vibes only.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, man, and then high road, hashtag high road. And man, that high road is never fun. It's never the fun option. Every time the high road presents itself, it's always like there's a more instant gratification, conducive option here. And then there's the high road that's boring, and it is injurious to one's ego. And
it's the short term, that guy that's being that guy
right
is winning.
Yeah.
And guess what? I have luckily taken the high road enough times that I've seen it come across where now I'm winning.
Yep.
And that guy is just having a horrible, stressful life, and so be it. You are, a product of your environment. If you choose to be that guy, you're gonna probably feel like that guy. So
yeah,
but just be positive, be nice, good vibes only. That's my mini, by the way. My mini says good vibes only. I always read it every single time I put it on the ground because
did we just become best friends?
Did we just go?
Yup.
So good.
Sign this disc.
I love it.
No, man. I mean, like that's the whole thing. Is, I mean, when you take the high road, when you find the opportunity and you choose to take it, you are conditioning yourself as a human to put the greater good, bird's eye view, big picture ahead of your own ego and pride. And the more opportunities that you can find and take to do that, the more discerning you're going to be in every decision-making process you find yourself in, and the more wisdom you're going to be able to apply to those situations. Because everything that is instantly gratifying sounds really good on paper. Looks really good on paper. As soon as you hear it, when you're presented with the options, it's like, man, this guy really has it coming, and here's an opportunity to stick it to him. And maybe only me and 3 of my closest friends will see this happen and appreciate it, but it'll feel really good for about 5 minutes until he throws a temper tantrum and airs out all this dirty laundry on Facebook.
Exactly.
And I don't like to lead with the possible repercussions, because the real benefit to taking the high road is that you develop a reputation as a person who values relationships, and you develop a reputation as a person who delivers what they expect of people, and you become somebody that people want to work with. Whereas if you take the low road too many times in short succession, yeah, you might be able to be the face of something on social media, but in the industry where the decisions are made, where the moving and the shaking happens, people are going to talk about you, and they're going to make up nicknames for you, and they're going to say, like, yeah, he talks a big game, but he's going to strong arm you for this, or he's going to do this, or he's going to, blow you up on the back end and try to leverage, for and it's that old, we talked about this off the air too on the ride over here, is like that mindset of where you got to put your hand on somebody's head and push them down to get yourself up higher.
Right.
And I think that disc golf, one of the really unique things about where it's at as an industry right now is that like there's plenty of room for everybody. Like think creatively, find carve a hole for yourself.
Yeah, you don't need to steal people's material. It'll be better.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, be yourself. Yeah, guy. Nice. Guy at that clinic one time. Where are you at right now? You ain't teaching the Scott Stokely disc golf method. You could suck it.
I did not say that.
Yeah.
That was all Will McCaskill. That was all Will McCaskill, and not on.
That does not represent.
Not representing Dynamic Discs or Music City Disc Golf. Not even the last cash. Not even the last cash. Not even representing Will McCaskill.
You broke your
I don't
one
know
rule.
what I'm saying
you
anymore.
broke your one rule. The way you get out of all of that. Go ahead. I'll let you have the shining moment.
Here's the secret that you're about to learn, Philip. If you watch the TV, you're going to see this is our safe word.
Pineapple.
I just got to throw up one of those, and it's all covered. It's like saying yoink after you steal something. It's not stealing.
I've never heard.
But no, Philip, thank you for taking the time to come over here and hang out with us and do the podcast. I'm super stoked to see what you do this weekend. I know that there is at least 3 people on Friday. Are there still all 9 spots available on Sunday?
So there's
or are we canceling
as many
Sunday?
spots as we sell tickets. There's no cap on how many people can show up on Sunday.
Okay.
And on Friday, I don't know if there's 3
I think there were
or
3
4
spots for Friday.
I think there might be 4. Anyways, if 2 or 3 more people sign up for, well, it would be a little late to sign up tomorrow or tonight.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna break my back and get this online tonight.
I was hoping to do it.
And so yeah, but really on Sunday, if you want to come out, we're gonna be out. I'm gonna be out there for 3 hours. I'm gonna give a 1 hour instruction. We said this already, but I'll just repeat it. Teaching, giving the theory on backhand, forehand, and putting, and then we're gonna just circle everyone through one-on-one, and you're gonna be able to learn. You come through the line, get a backhand breakdown, go practice. Come back, get back in line, get a forehand breakdown, go practice. Rinse, wash, repeat. Learn how to putt, drive, all that good stuff. And what a bargain!
Dude, for sure.
$30 to be there for 3 hours, $10 an hour. That's a very good deal.
True. Yeah, absolutely. And you guys are going to, there are plenty of people in Nashville that took advantage of Scott's instruction when he was here last year. And you guys are getting not only everything that Scott teaches, but you're getting more than that with Philip, because he's got his own teaching experience that he has accumulated over years of instruction, and he's been around for a while. So this is not, teaching disc golf to people is not new to Philip. This isn't a flash in the pan kind of thing. He's an expert disc golf instructor, and that is why Scott has chosen him to represent his brand. And this really is a method that is going to revolutionize the aspect of teaching and instruction within the sport. I think there is nobody else that has actually established a curriculum for disc golf training and instruction. This is the first time that we've seen it in the sport, much like I was referencing Disc Golf Strong with like the first real initiative in fitness and training within the sport, and Sarah Sinclair with Get Gritty Nutrition, like focusing in on nutrition. Like these are necessary components that we need to incorporate within disc golf and fully embrace if we want to continue to gain acceptance and legitimacy within the sporting world at large. Yeah. So everybody that's watching, listening, please come out. Look in the description. We're going to put links to the seminar calendar, so you guys can not only check out the opportunities this weekend to catch a seminar and a clinic, but you can also, if you're watching or tuning in from elsewhere, you can check out when Philip or Scott is going to be in your town. We highly encourage you to sign up for this stuff. This is a guaranteed way to improve your game in all kinds of aspects, not just shaving strokes or improving your drive or, getting better on the green. This is a fundamental overhaul of your basic understanding of disc golf mechanics. And it's going to continue to provide benefit to you in perpetuity just by doing it the one time. Just the one time. Anything else you would like to put out on everybody's radar before we sign off?
Well, obviously, I just want to thank you guys for letting me come on the show and hang out and just being so hospitable and taking care of me for the weekend. And obviously I'm looking forward to Saturday and touring Nashville a little bit and seeing all the cool stuff. So far it's so pretty beautiful city, and I'm like really looking forward to being here.
Have you seen the Woo Girls yet? Woo!
The bachelorette parties on the party
but
buses.
that sounds cool. That sounds cool. Yeah,
We could do a loop. We could take a lap downtown tomorrow, I guess. I try to avoid it, but I could take you down there.
Maybe I can pay them back.
You gonna give him?
I can pay them back for the lesson by
and then we go to Ogwood,
taking a trip through downtown.
I mean, the lesson's already paid for, so if you guys just want to go have fun, then definitely let's go have some fun.
Nice.
We're definitely not going to Ogwood on Saturday.
Now, the clinic on Sunday isn't till in the afternoon.
Well, the clinic's on Saturday. Dude, you might want to talk to Scott. Me and him, I've been trying to correct. He's changed.
Maybe he switched it around.
He's got you for a seminar on Sunday, 9-hour seminar on Sunday, 3-hour clinic Saturday from 5:30 to 8:30.
So what? I thought you said we were going to play disc golf on Saturday.
Saturday, we are getting up in the morning. We are going to go play Ogwood. We're going to see some sights, and then I'm going to get you to the church on time.
Oh, look at me! I don't even know my own schedule.
But
the last time I talked to Scott,
my people got with your people.
It was on Sunday. Yeah. You are correct. It is on Saturday.
My people got with your people.
That's actually hilarious. But I will say we have moved some stuff around, so I had to adjust accordingly. That is so embarrassing. And we're not cutting it out. We're leaving that in. That's how schedules change.
Hey man, I'm a promoter, man. It's my job to know these things.
Yeah,
I'm like, what's that weird ass guy that interviews all the rappers, and he's like, oh yeah, your first girlfriend, with Nardwall or Narwhal or something like that. You're like, it's our job to know that.
Yeah, you know everything more. You know more about me than I know.
You're Billie Eilish. It's our job to know that.
Goodness.
Wow.
That's good journalism right there, folks. Podcast gold. You heard it here on the Last Cash. But no, you guys, for real, check out the description for all the links. But get signed up. There's still 3 spots available for tomorrow at Two Rivers. Saturday clinic, 3 hours, starting at 5:30. $30 a head. There are exceptions to that. Read the description on the website. And then Sunday, another full 9-hour seminar at Two Rivers. So check it out. Get signed up. Become a better disc golfer.
Get you some.
That's so funny. He totally changed that up on me. I cannot believe. I just looked at the schedule. I looked down. You said Sunday. I was like, Sunday? What the heck? I looked at that.
Me and him had like an hour-long conversation in text last night. I'm like, dude, we should probably do this.
No. It's actually a really good idea. No, I'm glad we're doing that. I'm glad that you're here because, well, I would have figured that out because I would have gotten done with my day and looked at my schedule and been like, what? You got something? I have Saturday and Sunday?
We just became best friends. I won't let you fall.
Yeah. No, thanks, man.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to episode 43. We're going to jump off here so we can go escort this gentleman over to Dr. Hoy's Palace of Pleasure. And we will catch you probably next week for who knows what. I mean, shenanigans ensue.
I'm ready.
Marcus is
I'm
always
not going
ready.
anywhere. I'm going to sit right here.
Nobody else is brave enough to hang out with me every week and do these crazy antics and things. And all right, we're getting off here. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
Great episode.
That was fun. Yeah, thank you guys.
That was great.
Good talk.
Let the bass kick.